Zane Stevens. I'm the founder of Protea Financial. And here we are, week 51 of the 52 I promised you. So I promise you this will be our second last week. And, I'm a little sad about it. I've enjoyed this run. It's been a good way for me to sit down and really think about what's important in the world of accounting, the world of wine. I've had some great interviews with a lot of good guests, shared a lot of great information. Doesn't mean I'm disappearing forever. I'm going to sort of just change it a little bit. And there's a lot of cool new things coming out in 2025. Well, at least I think they are. But for episode 51, I sort of, one, I'm wearing a blue shirt for a change. I feel like I always wear the black one of this. So I put on the blue one today going, this might be a first. Episode 51, why not shake it up a little bit? But today, I wanted to focus in on a little bit of what I was talking about on my LinkedIn today. So on a weekly basis, I do a post that says accounting tip of the day. And the whole idea of the accounting tip of the day is to give small business owners, be it winery owners or any other business owners, some advice on either understanding accounting better or how to get the right accounting help in place for their business to be successful. Last week on that post, I told people, hey, here's some idea of when you should hire an accountant. And honestly, the general consensus of that post is earlier than you think. Get help in as soon as you possibly can, because one, expertise is helpful. Two, it's not something you should be worrying as a business owner because you've got so many other things to do. And three, honestly, having data is important. And we spoke about this last week in episode 50, where if you really think about it, the numbers don't lie, and having good information is important. Now, what I did touch on that point is that it is critical that you have good information so that the numbers don't lie to you. So that is partially you getting a good accountant, partially also you having good processes in place to get that information to the accountant so they can help you. This week in my blog post, in my LinkedIn post, this is exactly what I said. We now all agree we need to hire accounting help. Yes, we do. But then I go on, but how do we ensure we hire a good accountant for our business? Seems like a simple question. I start with going, ask your peers. If you have someone they love, if they have someone they love, talk to them. If there's nothing better than a positive, there is nothing better than a positive peer review. So if you're a winery owner, talk to your fellow winery owners and ask them who they're using for accounting. Do they like them? Would you mind if I get an introduction? Because I really need better accounting help. If you're one of our clients' people, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to help you. But I follow on that. What if they don't have a referral for you? What happens if you reach out to a friend? They're like, I've got an accountant, not in love with them. They've got some problems. Then what happens? Well, I say, yes, 3 things you should consider before you're hiring that accountant. And I will read these. Someone who has embraced technology, a technology forward accounting firm. That'll always help you because there'll be efficiencies in place. Number 2, someone with knowledge of your industry. Industry knowledge is important. It's not essential, but it can make a very big difference, especially if you're hoping that they'll speak your language. Number 3, someone who prioritizes communication and can define their communication policy. Communication is critical. The biggest reason people aren't happy with their accounting, be outsourced accounting or be a tax provider, is that the communication sucks. It's just a fact. As an industry, we've forgotten that we're service providers and we're providing a service to people. So you should be looking for a firm that prioritizes communication, has good communication protocols in place, and will respond to you on a timely basis and keep that timely basis to a consistent number. So 1, technology, 2, industry knowledge, 3, communication. I think this is a very simple list to get going, which will help you to scale it down from the hundreds that you find on a search down to just a little few. And then you can have that interview and find, hey, do I actually like this person? Do I feel like it's a fit? Yeah. But this is our YouTube channel, right? So I want to get a little bit more into this. I gave 3 quick examples of where to go. So I went to my buddy, and we all know by now my buddy is ChatGPT. And I put in there, I dropped in my post and I said, this is what I said today. what is your best advice for choosing an outsourced accountant? So it's very specific outsourced accounting because that's who I am. But honestly, when I look through this, plus my post, this works for outsourced accounting, internal team. This even how it works for a tax person. This really works, honestly, for most service providers. But we'll stick to the accounting side today. So ChatGPT came up with 7 points that they think is important. Hence the title of this episode, 7 tips for choosing the right accountant. Okay. And you'll be interested to see that the first 3 are the same as my 3. They throw in peer reviews and they talk about cultural fit. And I just mentioned to you, communication, talk to them, have the cultural fit. So they have 2 more in there. One that we don't like to talk about, mostly because I think most business owners put way too much weighting on this item. And you'll see, if ChatGPT is putting it number 7, it's important, but it's not the most important thing. And the last one in here is about scalability, which is an interesting topic to talk about. Okay? So let's go through it. Let's start with just going through what the 7 are. So number 1, they talk about industry expertise. Number 2, technology integration. Number 3, clear communication. 4, scalability. 5, cultural fit. 6, references and testimonials. 7, cost transparency. And you can see why I like to stay away from number 7. Even though we are an affordable option in the wine industry, we're not the cheapest. And we're never going to try to be the cheapest. What we're trying to provide is a good quality product at an affordable price that can help your business grow. Which reads, we will not ever be the cheapest, but we'll also not always be the most expensive. But let's dig into this a little bit more because I don't want to get too stuck on pricing because I know everybody wants to go there. I'm sure if I see people's like measurement of what am I going to pay, their biggest weighting is always going to be cost. Let's not get into that. Short-sighted, yes. It does have to be considered, sure, but stop putting so much weighting on cost. Cost is important, but cost equals output. You know that whole thing about, fast, cheap, high quality. You're going to have 2 of the 3. So keep that in mind. But I'm not going to go into too much of it because I don't want to feel like I'm preaching to you guys. I don't feel like I want to be a typical salesperson either. So number 1, which is I brought in here as well, which was actually my number 2, was industry expertise. So they talk about it as well. Find somebody that understands your industry. Now, it does make a difference, right? There are small things in the wine industry that are tricky. The inventory costing, even though it's cost accounting, which could be done in multiple industries, is over a really long extended period of time. It makes it a little bit complicated. If you don't know how it works, you can quickly get stuck in the wrong area. So industry expertise can make a difference, not just from knowing the nuances, but also be able to give you some sort of advice based on what they've seen in other businesses like theirs. So if somebody has a lot of clients in it, so it's that one person provider who's got 5 or 6 wineries, they have a picture of more than one winery and not just looking at yours. At Protea, we have over 160 of them, and we've worked with probably over 200 over the time. So we have some sense of what norms should look like. It allows us to give you feedback and insights. We can get a question from a client between our group of people, all 41 of us. We can ask the question around and we can probably find the answer. So using somebody with industry expertise really makes a difference because we've seen a lot of things. We understand what's happening in the industry and we can provide advice as well as accurate financial information to match what is going on in that industry. It was just a couple of months ago now, I had a call with a winery out on the East Coast. And I said, hey, I'd love to help you with the work, but let's do an assessment of your books first and get some, just give you some feedback to let me know if I can even help you. I got into the books and the books were neat. The accountant was doing a great job. But what was clear to me that was not a winery accountant because the chart of accounts was just off. And they were looking at fundraising, maybe selling in the future. And I gave them feedback going, this is what you're going to expect to see if you're speaking to somebody in a wine industry. This is what they're going to want to see from your set of financials. Got so much pushback from the other accountant. Even though I started with, I think you're doing a great job, these are just minor tweaks to bring it into industry standards. Those industry standards make a difference in those critical times in your business, like fundraising, like sales. So it does make a difference. Now, in that case, the accountant was doing a great job, so they'd still probably be fine. But they're definitely leaving money on the table when people in the industry would have to go do additional work to get the books into the format that they're looking for. So hire somebody with industry expertise. It will make a difference. Number two is technology integration. This is all about efficiency, right? Now, I'd be careful of finding that, accountant that you go to their website and they've got 50 different technologies linked and maybe 5 or 6 different providers from each different types of service portion. And if you go to their social media or their blog posts, they're switching and jumping between service providers all the time. You're not looking for the person who's going to jump from fad to fad, but you're going to look for somebody that has deep, connected relationships with their vendors, their technology partners that help them to be more efficient. Ask them simple questions like, how do you manage our data, and what tasks do we need to do? When I have that conversation with people, I proudly tell them we use Carbon and how amazing it is and how much it makes our life so much easier because I can wake up in the morning and I know exactly what I need to do because my to-do list is ready for me. Look for people that are using technology in a smart way, staying up to date with trends, regularly reviewing technology options, and suggesting best combinations for their clients. You want an accountant who likes technology. It is important. It makes the process more efficient, gives you better quality of information, and it reduces the number of human errors in your financials. And that's a win-win for your business. Number three, I had this down as number three as well. Really might be number one in most business owners' books at this point in time, but clear communication is so critical. Ask about communication style, ask about turnarounds, ask about how often will they hear from you. Ask the questions about communication. You probably get a good sense of their communication style from your first interaction. If you sent an email to the website and it takes them a week to get back to you, probably a bad sign about what type of service. Because if they really want your business and they're taking you a week, what are they going to do when they actually have your business ready? At Protea, we keep very simple rules. 24-hour rule. Respond to the client. Respond to your teammate. Respond to that person who's reaching out to you. Even if it is, thank you, I received your email. I will respond in 2 to 4 days or whatever that period of time is. But having clear communication rules and sticking to them consistently is important, and it will make a difference to your experience with your accountants. A little word of advice though, make sure if you've got high expectations from communication from your accountant, that you keep yourself to those levels as well. Nothing worse than a client who never responds and then expects a response in 5 minutes. Those are clients that nobody wants. So set the example yourself and let people know I will respond within 48 hours. I'll respond within 24 hours. Doesn't matter what it is. Look at that. Option number 4, scalability. You know, ChatGPT specifically looks like ability to grow with your business, right? So we're in a new format where we've grown with many clients. We've gone from clients where they need 25 hours a month with us to 200 hours a month. And our system, using our team in South Africa, we have the flexibility to be able to grow with it. Generally start with 3 people teams. We can grow to 4, 5, 6 people as necessary. We have the ability to scale in size for specific projects. And we also have the ability to take on small projects and large projects because we have the depth of knowledge. But we also have the ability, because of our service offering, from all the way from admin type works through bookkeeping, controllership, and even into those CFO light services. Now, we're never going to call ourselves CFOs, but we can come in and manage relationships. We can help you with M&A. We can get you ready for a sale. We can provide those CFO services to make sure that you have the growth in your business. Because we can offer services all the way from admin through to CFO, we can help your business depending on where you are in your business cycle and what you're trying to achieve. So we can adjust services with your needs. I think that's important. it's sometimes tricky. And, I get sort of, let's take it back. I sometimes get pushback because we don't do taxes, state and federal taxes. So we're not a one-man shop for any clients. But we do have really great relationships with different CPA firms so we can put them in touch with the tax provider to help them. And because we work with them often enough, we know what they expect to get the taxes done. So it acts like a seamless integration as if we're part of one team. But I would be careful about going to an accounting resource where they offer you one service and one service only. It definitely can work, but just be careful that your needs are going to change. So if you think you're going to grow, if you think you're going to change, you might look for somebody that's going to be able to adapt with you as well. That goes to your tax provider and your outsourced accounting. I'm almost a little nervous about outsourced accounting and tax in the same house because I really feel it's hard for you to provide the operational accounts while servicing your tax team at the same time. So I'm not saying that can't work, but just be careful about it, especially if you're in an industry where accrual accounting is really critical because you have complicated inventory. Because a lot of times I do see that the outsourced accounting can get a lot of pressure from the tax team to give them information quickly so they can make decisions. And then it just goes easier to do it on a tax basis. Those tax basis is great. We're all trying to save taxes, but not necessarily the best place for you to make good business decisions. So be careful about that one. Number 5 on their list is cultural fit. I think this is incredibly important. Right, once you've ticked off some of these boxes above, have a conversation with the accountant. Don't just say we're going to sign up because my friend said so. I found you on the internet. Have a conversation, hear their story, feel them out a little bit. Make sure that you have a sense that you'll be able to work with this person. Because there's nothing worse that they're a really great accountant, but there's just some sort of part of their personality or something they do that drives you nuts. Because if they're driving you nuts, there's no ways you're going to listen to them properly. And then you're just paying a lot of money to not get the best out of the service. So make sure that at least there's some, hey, I can work with this person involved in there. And also make sure that you're on the same page in terms of what is required, right? If you're somebody that says, hey, I really need my person to communicate often, and they come back to you and say, hey, our turnaround is every 7 days, you probably should scratch that one off straight away because it does not match your culture. Or if you say, hey, we're fast growing, we're adaptive, we like to play with new technology, and you come into the person, they say, hey, yeah, technology is great, but we stick to our little book. This is what we use. We always use this. It's not going to work either. So make sure that your visions are aligned, your values are aligned, and this is somebody you can work with. Cultural fit is really important. If they tick all the boxes, make sure that you could actually work with them. Number 6 on ChatGPT's list is references and testimonials. Hey, I said to you in the beginning of that LinkedIn post, ask your peers who they're using. Ask them, do they like them? Why do they like them? And why should I use them? Look out for it, reference. You're talking about the references, but also testimonials. Go to the website. Do they have testimonials? Great. I'm not the biggest fan of testimonials because they're a point in time and they die pretty quickly. But look at them. I'm always willing to ask our clients to talk to potential clients as well. I think that's a great way to do it because you're getting a live, fresh look at it. Now, truthfully, you're going to get to talk to our biggest fans. So you're getting the best of the best talking to you. So take it with a grain of salt. The peer reviews are the best. Testimonials are okay. Talking to clients is great. But learn a little bit more about them. Google them a little bit. Find out about who they are. Ask ChatGPT for a great accountant in your industry. The information is out there. Do the little bit of work to make sure that they actually are who they say they are. And number 7 on this list is cost transparency. Nothing worse than go to an accountant. They say, hey, for $500 a month, we can do your books. And then you get the first bill and it's $500 plus. Here's all our overruns for all the extra work we did, which is outside of the standard package. And well done. Your fee is now $1,500. Brutal, 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 brutal. honestly, better off to go with somebody who's billing you hourly at that point in time. If you get somebody that you can see their average rates are lower than, higher than, competitor A, competitor B, average billing rate of $100, average billing rate of $200, and then they all put the proposal together, and the one that's $200 total bill is less than the one that's $100 per hour, alarm bells should be going off like crazy. This proposal is total BS. You're gonna pay more. Be careful. Low price doesn't necessarily mean only price, and you could be trapped pretty quickly. I don't think anybody's purposely trying to trap people, but some people are just better at proposals than others. Some people are asking the right questions, maybe have a bigger book of business so they understand how much it's going to cost. Sometimes the biggest issue that people have with their accountant is that they're not getting to everything. It's probably because the pricing is wrong. So if you're already unhappy because they're never getting anything done, and I'm only paying $500, and I want you to only charge me $500 but get everything done, it's not going to work, guys. Clearly, the $500 is not enough money to get the job done, so somebody's going to have to charge more. So as much as price is important, and I talk about 3 to 5% of revenue is your target for accounting services, and I talk about that including your outsourced services and your taxes. That is the target range. Now, it could be a little higher when you're in the startup phase of it, and I did do an article about this a couple of months ago, so you can probably find it on proteafinancial.com. But don't let price be the only factor in deciding it. If you have two firms that come to you and they both are expertise in the industry, they both integrate the technology, they both have great communication, they can both scale, you like both of them, you got good peer reviews for both of them, then go with the cheaper one. Simple. But if you have an accountant that doesn't really know your industry, doesn't really use technology, has terrible communication, you're not the biggest fan of them, and then you find another one that has all those things and they're going to charge you more, don't reject them out of hand just because they're a little bit more expensive. That is not smart business. You're paying for what you get. So price is important, but don't get caught in I need to pay the lowest price possible trap, because then you're going to get what you pay for, and that's on you. I believe getting a good account is super important. Data doesn't lie, but to get that information, you need somebody that's going to be able to give you that information. Somebody that's going to record the history, reconcile to make sure it's accurate, and provide you the reporting so that you can use it to make good business decisions. But you have to find a good accountant first. And be able to do that, there are 7 factors that you should consider in selecting a good accountant for your business. Number 1, find somebody with industry expertise because it will make a difference. Number 2, find somebody that integrates technology into their business to make the process more efficient and give you better service. Number 3, find a clear, concise communicator. Find somebody that prioritizes communication and is reliable and consistent in their response times. Number 4, find an accountant that is scalable, that can adjust and change as your business adjusts and changes, and can help you through many different factors of your business journey. Number 5, find somebody that culturally fits with you. Find somebody that you actually like. If you like them, you're more likely to listen to them. Number 7, get references and testimonials. If it's from a peer, hold it to the highest standard. If you're talking to another client, that's great as well. Testimonials on website, iffy, but they will do. Factor number 7, cost is important. Make sure it's not the only factor you're considering, but look at making sure that they're clear, concise on what they're going to charge you. I truly believe a good accountant can really help your business be successful, and choosing the right accountant is critically important. I hope that these 7 factors that I've provided you today will help you make a better decision. As always, it's really been great to hang out with all of you. I got one more episode of Protea Weekly in me, so I'll see you all next week. Until then, happy Thanksgiving. Be kind. Goodbye.